What up, though, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Chopping It Up with Uncle Chon True-Stories. I'd like to thank a few people for supporting my videos and my channel. I'd like to thank Dee Dee, and I'd like to thank New York Sean, otherwise known as the 19th Letter. They've been there, and I'd like to thank everybody who's taken the time out of your busy schedule and watched my videos and have liked them, shared, and commented. And if you haven't, I'm looking forward to winning you over. Today, I'm going to tell a story about me. and it's one of my biggest videos was, it was called Suckered by a Sorority Sister. So I think that people like to hear about my failures with women. So I got a million of those. So here we go. All right. This story is set in Detroit, Michigan, and the year was probably let's say '01, 2000 or '01. I'm not really sure. Anyway, I was a single guy, happy, uh, having fun in life, and was working for a large delivery company. And one of my stops, my last stop of the day, would always be at this printing company. And the shipping manager name was Daryl. Me and Daryl became pretty cool. We hung out a few times or whatever, and I would have to sit there for a while and wait on him to finish everything that he needed to do before I could leave. We actually, when we first met, we actually got into it because I didn't want to wait, and he called the boss, and I had to go back, and after that we got cool. So anyway, so the last stop, I would be there for like maybe 20, 25, 30 minutes, sometimes 40 minutes. Um, and we would be chopping it up, talking. And at the time, he was seeing this young lady named Pam. Uh, Rest in peace, Pam. Um, and Pam would fall through because they would have plans for after work, and after I left, he would leave. So, um, sometimes Pam would get there, and the three of us, along with the other driver from another large package delivery service, a guy named damn, what was his name? I'll think of his name in a minute. Anyway, he would show up, and we would all have these conversations about relationships and women and men and blase split, just kicking it, talking junk. So, one day, Pam was like, "Hey, Sean, I got this girl I want you to meet. She's a nice young lady, and she's out of a relationship, and I think y'all will be a good match or whatever." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, whatever." So maybe 4 or 5 days later, she brought it up again, and she showed me a picture of her. Now, um, as far as when you say, I guess the word as far as your type goes or whatever, you know, she wasn't really somebody that I would just see walking down the street and holler at. I mean, um, first of all, she was light skinned. Ah, okay, I know y'all gonna get me for this, but I really kind of don't like light skinned women. I mean, it, not that they're not pretty or whatever. It's just I prefer darker skinned women. Okay. Um, Also, she had short hair. Um, I'm not a fan of short hair, but I guess I'd rather short hair than weave. And she happened to look nice with the short Tony Braxton type haircut, because she had kind of a square head, so it just fit her. Um, so she was a nice looking lady. She was a little older than me, and I typically like women who are a little older than me. Okay, so it was all good with that. Uh, and she asked for a picture of me, and they took a picture and sent it, and I guess it was okay because she then asked them to give uh, me her number. Okay, so Pam gives me the girl's number and the girl's name. Now, see, this is one of the points of the story I wanted to make. Fellas, young men, if you're black, don't mess around with women, black women with white girl names. It's something about that. It's something about black women with white women names that just you're gonna have a problem. That's my theory. Okay. Um, her name was Becky. Okay. Now there couldn't be that many black Beckys in the greater Detroit area. So if the funky bitch see this, I don't give a damn because I'm telling the truth. The truth is the best defense against uh, slander. Okay, so um, so she gives me her number, and I don't call her right away. I wait about 3 or 4 days, and Pam's like, "Hey, Becky says you ain't called her yet, or whatever, And I'm like, "Well," I was like, if I called her right away, then she would think I was desperate and it'd be something wrong with me or whatever. Oh no, no, she's older, and we don't, us older ladies, we don't think like that. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll call her tonight. So I called her when I got off work that night, and we had a good conversation or whatever. So we started talking every day. So we talked for about a week or whatever, and I'm not, I'm one of them type of people, I'm not going to report back to nobody about whatever the hell I'm doing. So, I don't say nothing. Whatever she's reporting back to Pam or whatever, that's what's up. But I really wasn't going to Daryl and telling him shit, because he had his own shit he was doing. So, you know, so after about a week, we decide to meet, and we decided to meet at a Buffalo Wild Wings. Now, I didn't know at the time, but the Buffalo Wild Wings was right next to where she uh, lived and worked. Okay, so we meet, and we had a good time, great conversation. We had a good time. So she invites me back to her crib. Okay, now she was, I think at the time I was like maybe, I'm gonna say 30 or 31, and she was like 40 or 41. Okay, so, but I know what the hell, if a woman invites you back to her crib, the first night you know, you see her, even though we had been talking for about a week or whatever. But anyway, I know what that means. So, but now this is now, fellas. Also, I want y'all to peep this. I made a mistake, and I'm gonna tell you when I made the mistake. Okay. Um, so she invites me back to her crib. So we leave because I mean, it was like we closed the place down. It was like 1 o'clock, and everybody was leaving. So, you know, I gave her the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, well, we having a great conversation, good time, whatever. But anyway, she invites me, to her crib. So we go over there, and I follow her in my car, and we get over there, and she she was like an uh, I guess apartment manager, I guess you call it or whatever. But she also had a place at the places that she rented out to people. Okay, so we go in there, and we're sitting in her living room, and she's got like a sofa and a love seat, and they're like across from each other. So I'm sitting on the love seat, she's on the couch, and we just kicking it, having a good time or whatever, talking. And fellas, okay, this is about where I made the mistake. So after a while, she gets up, and it's like come in here and look at the view from the bedroom. Okay, this is where I made my mistake. Okay, we go into the bedroom and I'm looking out the window. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's a nice view. They had a little pond or whatever, but okay. And she's got this look in her eye, and I knew what it was. Now, here, fellas, this is where I made the mistake. Never ever put the P on a pedestal. And see, because of who introduced me to her, I gave her too much respect. Too much. Okay? Should have knocked that down. But I didn't. Okay? Bad mistake. So, um, we finish off the night and, a few things happen. I ain't got to go all into that, but I leave and, you know, we continue communicating or whatever. Now, I don't know what she was telling Pam, but whatever she was telling Pam, Pam was telling Daryl because now you know how you like he never said nothing, but he decided to share some information with me. So he told me that she, right before she met me, who Becky, her man, her and her man were living together. Okay, not at the place where she was working, where she now lives, but at his place, okay? And he was even older than her. I think he was like in his 50s or whatever. But I guess the entire relationship, they were allegedly supposed to be engaged or whatever. But the entire relationship, his ex-wife kept coming in and out the picture or whatever. So one day he basically comes home from work and tell her, hey, look here, I want to be back with my ex-wife, so I need you to shake the spot. He threw her ass out, okay, and broke up with her, you know. So um, I was like, oh, okay. So now that I know this, I didn't, I never let Becky know that I knew. So, that was just some ammunition, and So after that, the first piece of BS started happening. So she tells me something about her ex boyfriend had called her and he called a couple times, but she ain't answered the phone or whatever. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, bitches, boy. Because I'm like, you know what? If it wasn't nothing to it, you wouldn't have said nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? It was that, So I'm like, okay, well, whatever. And then so she was like, well, we kind of do. I do want a little closure or whatever. So I might have to talk to him or whatever. So at this point, I know she's talking to him anyway. All right. So I tell her, I'm like, look, check this out. I was like, me and you just met. I said, we ain't done nothing or nothing. I'm like, so check it. I can step out the picture, let you, you know, finish your unfinished business with your ex or whatever, and then, you give me a call later on down the line or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what I told her. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, no, you're a good guy, and I like you, and oh, no, 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 I'm not, no, nothing like that. I'm like, are you sure? I was like, because, it'd be cool, you can just holler at me, future time doing it. Oh, no, no, no. Okay. No, I'm like, I'm like this. Okay. So, um, now this part right here is kind of hard for me to tell because I remember the day like it was nothing. So anyway, one of my cousins, he got killed, and me and her had made a date for like, you know, um, well, let's say I found out on that Monday, and me and her had set up for a date like on Wednesday or something like that. It was doing, So, um, now I had been talking on the phone with her, so she knew the situation, and I was pretty messed up. So she comes over. The plan was for her to come over, drive over to my crib, and we get in my car and we drive to the restaurant. Now, the reason why I had set that up originally because I was gonna knock her down that day because I was like, okay, I'll let her slide, but she offered it, but I like, okay, but anyway, so, but I wasn't even thinking on that level because of what had happened. Now let me tell you what I had on, and what I had on is important for later on in the story. And this might have to be a two-parter because I don't like to make them too long because I don't want to, have y'all, my, I don't want. I just don't like to do them that long. I think it's better if I keep them kind of short. So I had on a brand new uh, $80 T-shirt from Mitchell and Ness, and I had on a pair of Nautica khakis, and I had on a pair of expensive loafers or shoes or whatever because I got big feet. I can't buy cheap shit. Okay, so that's just it. So so she comes through. We get in in my car, and I could tell she was on some bullshit immediately. She's like, you could have washed your car, you know. And I just looked at her because I'm like, bitch, if you only knew how bad I was feeling right now, how fucked up I am emotionally, you wouldn't even say nothing like that to me. So I'm like, yeah, I didn't have time to do it or whatever, and I just drive to the restaurant. We go to this restaurant on what we're called, I think it's called Union Street Grill. Okay. It was recommended to me from somebody, I don't know. Anyway, so, we go into the restaurant. I never been there before. I don't know if she been there or not. But um, I told her about my cousin, you know, that happening to my cousin, and she was not very sympathetic. And then I told her, I said, look, because my phone was just ringing off the hook. Family members calling, uh, friends of the family calling, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm fighting back tears. I'm fucked up emotionally. And she orders the most expensive thing on the menu, which to me is always a sign that I'm not finna be messing with you no more. I think I ordered like a hamburger or something like that. And now listen, let me tell you something. I never take anybody anywhere where I can't afford the most expensive thing on the menu. So the money wasn't the issue. To me, it's a class issue, you know. But hey, whatever. If that's what she wanted, she ordered it. She did eat it all. So I can't really, okay, fine. But so I get a phone call and I like bust out crying. Ugh. This bitch basically damn near laughs at me. I ain't lying. I mean, she was very unempathetic, if that's a word. If it's not, then Jesse, that's not a word. Okay, I'm gonna stop the video right here. Stay tuned for part 2 of I Don't Want That Becky. If you liked the first part, join me for part 2. And if you didn't like it, join me for part 2. Like, share, subscribe. Peace.